Hi folks, I'm Larry Lapkin with Builder's Edge Insurance Services, and today we're going to be talking about how to get your contractor's license in the state of Washington. Now this video is going to walk you through the basics. First, we're going to talk about who actually needs to be registered as a contractor in the state of Washington. Second, where you apply and which agencies are involved. Third, what the state of Washington requires and what it doesn't require as far as exams and experience go. Fourth, the basics of the bonding and insurance. And lastly, what the application process looks like and how long does it take. So stick around. You're going to want to watch this. So first, let's talk about who actually needs to be registered as a contractor in the state of Washington. Well, once you're registered, that's what allows you to bid, advertise, and legally perform construction work in the state. And when Washington says construction work, they mean things like remodeling, repairing, building new homes, demolishing buildings, other types of work. Now, there are actually two different types of contractors. You've got general contractors and you've got specialty contractors. General contractors can perform most types of construction work, and they can actually hire subcontractors in different specialties. Specialty contractors are registered for one type of work only, things like roofing, painting, HVAC, and so forth. And they can only perform work in that particular specialty. So one important clarification, certain trades like plumbing, electrical, elevators, boilers, mobile home installation have additional licensing requirements and education requirements, but those are separate from basic contractor registration. So the key takeaway here is this: if you're making money doing construction work in Washington, you need to be registered with the state. Working without it can lead to substantial penalties and fines. Okay, next, let's talk about where you apply, because this part feels sometimes more complicated than it really is. First, you register as a contractor with the Washington State Department of Labor and Industries, also known as L&I. Second, you register your business with the Washington Department of Revenue, which is how you obtain a Unified Business Identifier, also known as a UBI, the state's ID number for your particular business. And third, if you're forming an LLC or a corporation, you register the business with the Washington Secretary of State. That's it. 3 steps, 3 agencies, each handling a different part of the setup. Next, let's talk about what Washington actually requires and what it does not require to register as a contractor. Now, this is where Washington is very different from states like Oregon, California, or even Nevada. For basic contractor registration, Washington does not require a pre-licensing class, an exam for the general contractor's license, or a minimum number of years of construction experience. This surprises a lot of people, but that's exactly how the system is currently set up. The state focuses less on testing your skills up front and more on whether you're properly registered, bonded, and insured. So the takeaway is simple. Washington makes it relatively easy to register as a contractor, which means the state put more responsibility on you to know what you're doing and how to run your business properly. Okay, next, let's talk briefly about bonding and insurance, because this is a required part of the registration process. Washington requires contractors to have a contractor's bond and also to carry commercial general liability insurance. The bond is there to protect the public. The insurance is there to provide basic protection if something goes wrong on a job. The specific bond amounts and insurance limits depend on whether you're registered as a general contractor or as a specialty contractor. But the key point here is you can't complete the registration without having both. So we're not going to dive into coverage details here. This is just simply the state's baseline requirement for registration. So to wrap this up, this has been an overview of how contractor registration works in the state of Washington, what the state requires and what it doesn't. The big takeaway is this: Washington is a very easy state to get a contractor's license in. There is no general contractor exam, no pre-licensing class, no minimum experience requirements, and you don't even need to live in the state to register to get the license. And because it's so easy to get registered, the responsibility really falls on you to understand the rules and to run your business correctly. In the next video, I'll walk you through what the state doesn't really explain, common misunderstandings, insurance issues, and mistake contractors sometimes run into after they're registered. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.